welcome back to Minecraft. I've played around with the audio settings in my setup, so hopefully it sounds a lot better than last time. And just to start things off, I'm gonna rename the world, because I can. Today, I'm gonna try to just gather stuff. So wood, wool, get a bed together. Still got those diamonds. Gotta organize this stuff. I'm also gonna make this farm into something much nicer in this episode. Sorry if I blew out the audio. I looked over and it was just going crazy. This is something that I added recently. All these differently colored chickens and pigs and cows. There's an armadillo. Never seen that before. Looks like there's sheep way over there. So just in the opposite direction that I was going. How thoughtful of them. There's bees and these pigs. I found that beehives can sort of just spawn in trees that you've planted, so that's odd. Like you plant the tree, it grows, and then there's a beehive in there. Now that we can make a bed, we can do a lot more stuff on the surface. So that's goal 1 of the video done. That wasn't a smart move. That's another achievement gotten. So by completing Minecraft, what I really mean is getting all the achievements. Because you see, there's all of these achievements that are your regular Minecraft stuff, but then you have adventure that goes all the way up here and all the way down there. And then you have husbandry, which goes all the way up there and all the way down there. And then you have 2 or 3 other tabs. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna complete Minecraft. Now let's just get the good farm going with lots of dirt. Even though we dig up tons of dirt, we can still get more. We can always use more. So the way these blocks work are these water source blocks that they can work to 4 blocks in any direction. So we've got that way, this way, and that way. However, here's the thing, is that it also extends this way 4 blocks. So that one little block right there can cover all this space. Isn't that nice? Gonna need lots more iron at some point. So, if you place this water source block right here, and then you have a 4x4, or rather 4 blocks surrounding it in all directions of farmland, then truly you should place these water source blocks every 4 blocks, right? So this is where we should put it next. Wrong. You should put it every 8 blocks to be maximally efficient. Because you put one here and then it goes all the way out to here. See what I mean? This is what an efficient farm looks like. If you want to make your farm like this. I'm gonna do 4 of these, so 2 more, and I'll try to speak closer to the microphone, because that's something I noticed watching back the video, was sometimes you can barely hear me. I guess that's why a lot of people get microphone arms, but it's like, where would I put something like that? Also, don't jump on your farmland. That's a good teaching moment. Unintentional teaching moment. We're gonna have lots of those. I also noticed that there was a lot this constant thumping sort of noise in the last video, and I think that was just my mouse moving around, so I reconfigured my setup. I also turned the game volume a little bit down from where it was last time. Don't want to blow out your ears trying to listen to the video. Now at some point I'm gonna get pumpkins, and then I'm gonna turn them into jack-o'-lanterns, and then those will go in the middle of the, right above these water source blocks, because one jack-o'-lantern has the same light level as a glowstone, and jack-o'-lanterns are considerably cheaper than glowstone, as you could probably tell. Well, we're out of dirt. How about that? I got tons of dirt and I still need more. Put this sand over here because we're going to make glass with that later. I was gonna put a crafting table right there, but looks like I don't have the wood. That's why I need to search for wood this episode. Or is it a part? Is it an episode or a part? It's labeled part, but could it also be an episode? There's your question of the day. PlayStation's gonna have a state of play today. Gonna announce some games probably. They usually have at least one thing that's neat, but usually it's not that eventful, these state of play things. Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out in a few days, so that's interesting. Eat your bread. Look at that health regenerate. Isn't that a nice and big farm? Now, put that in there and we'll never touch it again, pretty much. Until we actually need a farm again. Now to hunt down some wood. We're gonna need a ton of it. This might be the rest of the episode. Unless if I want to go and search for pumpkins. I'm gonna get the bed, just so that I can sleep in it and not have monsters come out at me. It's a habit that I've gotten from Hardcore Worlds, because you don't have a bed on you, and then suddenly it's nighttime and you're dead. And then the world is over. I think these leaf litter things are neat, but what are they used for? Are they just good for smelting? Some things are only good for smelting. Right now I have the graphics set down to fast instead of fantabulous, but I think I'll turn it back up. Because I like seeing through those leaves. I just recently learned that there is resin in the game, and that you can use resin to make resin blocks. But it primarily spawns from this one mob that only appears in this one place. So how about that for rare materials? And mob as in Minecraft monster, that's just what the monsters are called. I have no idea why, or where that came from. Probably the Mafia. Oh, there's mangrove trees. I like mangroves, but not for the wood. The mangroves actually grow in terrible patterns because it's really tough to mine it all, or rather chop it all down. But the roots, the mangrove roots, that's what you really want, because you can make all sorts of cool stuff with that. The main reason you'll want it is just to put it in water, because you don't need shears to get the mangrove roots, but you can... You need shears to get leaves, and leaves can be waterlogged while keeping the water source block in there, and making it inert. It can't move anywhere. But you need shears to get leaves. You don't need shears to get mangrove roots, and they can be used in the same manner. Here's my brain train getting there again. Getting some apples. You don't want to use the apples because you can make better apples out of them later on. But I suppose there isn't too big a harm in using them. We can trade apples later, as in get tons of apples for trade. I'm gonna get some mangroves. This is a bit of a rare biome in itself, these little muddy biomes. Not sure what they're called because I never run into them. Let's see, what's it called? Biome plains, biome mangrove swamp. Well, isn't that just obvious? These trees also spawn with like natural carpet, so you don't need to get wool to make carpet if you have these trees. It may not be pretty carpet, but hey, it's carpet. Aren't those nice fish? All colorful. See, they grow in these zigzag kind of patterns. That's why I don't like mining them. But hey, those roots. Gotta get those roots, man. Yeah, roots, that's what they're called. Gotta double and triple check. Never know when you're gonna be wrong. That's a good amount for now. Gotta go back to the normal trees. Mud. I wonder if there's a way to make mud, or if you just have to find this environment to get it. There's more of those firefly bushes, so that's nice. Why do I switch to my fist whenever I want to punch down a leaf instead of the tree? Just to save durability, pretty much. just thought of something. We can get jungle wood, that's right over there, and then we can just climb the jungle trees for tons and tons of logs. But there's a different kind of tree that I think looks a lot better. It doesn't seem to be around here, but you can also put it in the 2x2 space, and then it'll grow super high like those jungle trees. And it just looks a lot better. What's that? Never seen those bushes before. Seeing all sorts of new stuff. It's kind of like 1.21.5 was its own huge update, but it was only a minor update that was huge. Like it was a minor update, but it added a lot of stuff. So it's like a minor big update. Oh yeah, we can also get cocoa beans here. And with cocoa beans you can make cookies. The land of milk and cookies. That's what we'll have someday. We'll have to get cows. Give me your saplings. Give me your saplings, little tall one. No saplings, but we'll get them next time. Next time being right now. Jungle trees are odd because sometimes they'll just come in singular blocks on the ground. Like that. So it's like a lot of work to just take out the jungle trees. Let's take down a big one. All these crafting tables we can leave everywhere. want to get to the top of it and then dig down. I find that that's easier, but then they have these little branches to the sides, which is what makes the other kind of tree better because it doesn't have any branches on the sides, doesn't grow with any. I feel like a lot of people think that they need to just talk through the entire video. Like if they don't have a moment of silence that people will just get bored and go away. I think that a moment of silence can just help you out, you know? You can think about stuff. And also it's nice to just not have something blasting in your ears 24/7. So that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. I like how these vines are like natural ladders. If you want, you can gather the vines, but again, you need shears to do it. So you better have lots of iron. How long should I make these videos? Do you like them being an hour long each, or should they be shorter? Should I include every single step of the world making process, or should I leave some stuff off camera? I think I should record every little step of it, because then you can just see the whole world develop from one point to another, from the beginning to the end. I'm not bothering to replant these trees right now because look, there's tons of them. Bamboo is nice to have, but not for now, for much, much later. And then you can get melons in these forests, in these jungles. Jungles are just big forests. Melons you can grow at home. You'll always keep at least one melon with you. But they're terrible for giving you back food. Or rather, your hunger meter. Hunger meter looks like food. When you get an egg, always throw it. There could be a chicken that comes out of the egg. Or you could just keep the egg and make a cake later. I think that while I'm out, I'm gonna search for pumpkins. You really want those pumpkins, because you need the light source for your farms, and you can't plant a light source on farmland, so you've got to put it either over farmland or betwixt it. And yes, I did just use betwixt. I think that pumpkins don't usually spawn in these types of lands. I think they're usually in the oak or spruce type forest. More of the plains type biomes. Yeah, this kind of biome with these little trees, but let's just hope this biome is big enough for pumpkins to be here. Somewhere. Those are melons, so that's where the forest starts, the jungle forest. There's a lava lake over there. There's a big pool of lava right there. There's wolves. Wolves are nice, but you need bones to tame them, I'm pretty sure. Looks like a lot of birchwood in this area. Not sure if pumpkins spawn in birch forests. I think just tons of flowers do. Watch out for all these caves. You could fall in and die easily. Like a squishy human fellow. There's more lava. You can never find enough lava. Sleeping resets the weather, so it'll always be sunny when you wake up. It seems to not be pumpkins for miles, but we'll keep looking. Just some chickens staring at a wall. How nice of them. The wall must feel very nice about itself today, thanks to the chickens. If I can't find any pumpkins, I'll just try to find some sand, dig it up. Then we can make glass for real walls in a real house. Just can't see anything. Even with 4K, I can't see anything. There's a baby pig. We've got tons of animals, tons of pigs, chickens, cows, sheep, but no pumpkins. Here's something you can get is coral, not coral, it's kelp. Kelp will be really useful for making machines and elevators. You can also eat kelp, but it's not very good. This one's a classic, this music. It's been around forever. Pumpkins, we got it, yeah. That's what I like to see. You can get all the pumpkins or you can just get a couple. Because with pumpkins you can make pumpkin seeds, And then with pumpkin seeds, you can grow infinite pumpkins. Gotta make sure to not eat all of our watermelon, because if you do, then you're out of seeds. But hey, we have a whole jungle back home, so we can probably find more. There's horses. Horses are nice. You can jump around with horses, but you need like a saddle for it if you really want to control it. Now I'm gonna get some sand for that glass, because the house design that I'm thinking of is gonna need a good amount of glass. Here's a nice tip for water. If you have 2 source blocks, then, hold on, I can demonstrate it. You have 1 source block there, and 1 source block there, then the other 2 get filled up. And that's why all that water that rushed in just then filled up all that area, because there were source blocks there. Look at all those firefly bushes. Don't they look neat? I like fireflies. Just saw some yesterday. In real life, not in the game. Gotta go see real life every now and then. The more you sprint and the more you jump, the more stamina, or rather hunger, you use. So if you really want to conserve your hunger, then don't jump and don't sprint. But also if you're bored, just sprint anyway, and you can eat later. I turned the game audio down so that you could kinda hear me better, but let me know if the game audio is way too low, and if I should blast it upward like a spaceship. Don't know where that came from. There's Lava Mountain. That's how we'll know that we're close to home, is Lava Mountain's right there. There's a wolf. That's more of the classic wolf design for Minecraft. They now have all sorts of wolf designs. I believe there's an advancement for taming all the wolves. Yeah. 9 different types of wolves. So better go collect them all, like Pokemon. How many people who play Pokemon actually collect them all? Let's be real now. Once your hunger bar gets down to 3 hunger, then you can't sprint anymore. And you're left with just boredom now, until you get more food. If you're on hardcore, then running out of hunger completely will start to kill you. So you don't want to go without food in hardcore. Or really at all, in the game or in real life. So in order to turn these into jack-o'-lanterns, you have to place them, and then you use shears on them. And then that's how you get the... Hold on. Gotta organize all this. This is also how you get the seeds, is by doing that. And see, there's a nice little pumpkin face in there. Or rather, jack-o'-lantern face. Carved pumpkin. And then you take that and you add torches to it. But we don't have any torches because we ran out. So we've got to get more furnaces. We're gonna get a few more. So then we can just furnace up a whole lot of stuff at a time. We've got quite a bit of wood right now. We've got 4 stacks of wood. That is very, very nice. That means we can get 4 stacks of charcoal. Well, actually 5 because there's one burning right now. What am I talking about? It's always nice to have multiple furnaces, so that you can just reduce the time it takes to smelt things in total. Keep that sand on me because I'm gonna torch that sand. This is how I like to use the mangrove roots. See? See? Do you see it now with your eyeballs? The water is still there and it can still affect all of the farmland around it, but you can also just walk over it. But if you have any materials like this that pop out, then it'll just land on top of the block instead of going under the water. So isn't that nice? I think it's nice. I think it's very, very nice. This is generally how I like to have my inventory laid out, is you have coal, sticks, wood, iron, because you make lots of stuff with iron, the bucket, because you need a bucket, then the raw materials, just in case you run into any of these on any of your travels, and then right here goes a clock, but we don't have a clock yet, but it would go right there. Now that we have all this charcoal, we can make torches out of it. And with torches, we can make jack-o'-lanterns. And jack-o'-lanterns, despite being this cheap, are as bright as glowstone. I don't know how. It's just a regular torch in there, but somehow it's as bright as glowstone. Thanks video games for that one. I'm gonna make another furnace and then I'm gonna get some other stuff out of that. Gonna get some regular stone, because you can make a lot of stuff out of regular stone, including a stone cutter. And a stone cutter will make a lot of nice looking stone for you. And that's what I really want to do, is make a lot of nice looking stone. Now you can't put a block over a chest like this, or else it won't open. However, you can put a chest over a chest and it will open. So how about that logic? Now I have choice paralysis. I have so many choices of what I can make. I'm just gonna use some of this. You can make all sorts of nice looking blocks out of just pure deep slate. And I'm gonna surround my farm here, just so that I can land on some ground outside of the farm, instead of just, like, if I need to jump, I can jump on this land instead of the farm itself. Because if you jump on farmland, then it needs to be tilled again with your till. It's called a till, not a hoe. Or is it? Depends on where you're from, I suppose. But in Sweden, where the game was made, I guess it was called a hoe. Things always take longer to mine underwater, so don't place your blocks wrong. Easier said than done. We're gonna make this outside area look very, very nice very soon, with all this glass and stuff we've gotten. Hold on. Never mind, someone was knocking. Someone's making food out there, which is always nice. If you've got someone making food for you, don't throw them out. Always appreciate the people you have. Or rather, just the people around you. Because who's to say that you have a person, you know? But that's for the philosophizers to discuss. I'm gonna make a whole wall of deep slate stuff. Because deep slate is very nice looking. Of sticks. What am I doing? Gonna put ladders all over this wall. At the sides because that was a mistake. I'm gonna have glass there. That's gonna be the end of the wall. And then up here will be a little bitty platform where the actual house will. The living portion of the house will rest up there. Probably gonna get more iron next episode, so if you don't like mining, you can skip it. How much landscaping do you usually do in Minecraft if you play it a lot? Looks like I missed about 2 layers here. Always nice to miss a layer and then have to do it again later. I think I'll make this 3 high instead of 4 high, just because that'll look more aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Now what's an aesthetic, and why is it pleasing? Basically it's just like it looks nice. Aesthetically pleasing, aka it looks nice. We find a lot of ways to make words complicated, and then we wonder why language is so confused. We made it that way. We liked it that way. We thought we were smart that way. And now it's this big spaghetti disaster. Random Minecraft philosophy for you there. Take it or leave it. Now that we've gotten to the over an hour point, I'm gonna log off soon. Gonna put all these resources up first. Got all that sand, gotta smelt that sand. Probably gonna smelt some of this too, just to have these furnaces going on something that's useful. If you want to just like put tons of these things down, you can right click, but if you can hold right click and then drag, and then you can double click to grab it all in one go. So that's nice. Some little tricks for you there right at the end of the video where most of you have clicked off already. I know how you are. I know what you've done. And then the extra wood can go in there. And I'll need another pickaxe really soon. And then we can go mining. Put the tools down there. And the more important stuff. And then everything else that can just be sorted much, much, much later on. But I think that's a good amount of progress. The house is looking better. The farm is looking much better. Like an actual finished farm, it looks like. Probably not finished, but it looks very aesthetically pleasing, you could say. But anyway, I'm gonna eat some food so I don't starve. And I'm gonna do that in real life, eat real life food so I don't starve. So have a nice day, you fellow human person, you. Next time we're mining, ha ha ha.